Hello everyone. Sorry if this is a long post, but I think the context helps. Throwaway account, but let me know if there is somewhere better for me to post this. My wife, 32 female, and I, 33 male, have 2 children, 5 and 3. My wife is also 7 months pregnant with our 3rd child. We've been together for nearly 13 years. We've had our ups and downs, but overall seem to generally be in a good spot lately. Our 2 kids are sweet but very energetic. Some context for the following. I work a fairly stressful job, which is very cyclical in the hours commitment. I am also client-facing, which makes it tough for me to change plans on a whim. During my past busy season, I had to work roughly 60-70 hours per week. My wife has a more cushy job with a lot more flexibility. She can often take longer lunches and breaks during the day. Of course, this has put more of the home responsibilities on my wife during the past few months. I still took care of the yard work, house cleaning, maintenance, finances, etc. However, my wife generally is more responsible for picking up the kids, they're both in daycare, as well as meal prep. If there is a sick day with the kids, she usually is able to take a day off. I worked hard to be as present as possible with my kids, and do both, bedtimes almost every day, even when coming home later. Toward the end of my busy season, my wife and I had a fairly big fight over my working hours. As a result, I did tell her that I would work to find a new job with better hours, although someone less lucrative, so I could focus more on our family. I had planned to take my oldest child for a trip to visit my brother in the US this past weekend for 4 days. When it came time to book the trip, my wife told me she was not comfortable with me traveling with our child given the current political climate. Although we were both sure the risk was minimal, I agreed, and did not travel as my wife couldn't get comfortable with trip. My wife did suggest that I go by myself so I could spend some time with my brother, but I told her I wasn't comfortable leaving her alone for 4 days with 2 kids. Coincidentally, this same weekend, my university friends were having a hangout during the day that I had planned to miss while traveling. None of us live in the same city, so we were gathering in the most central location, which is roughly an hour away from where I live. I asked my wife if she was comfortable with me attending now that I was no longer traveling to the US. The hangout was only going to be for the afternoon, but it still would send me away for the afternoon and early evening. Although hesitant at first, my wife thought it could work as her mom and sister could come over to support with the 2 kids during the day. I did tell her that I wouldn't go if she wasn't comfortable with it that day. The night before, she did ask if I was sure that I wanted to go, as she said, "You seem tired, and it's a long drive." Admittedly, I did brush this comment off. The day of the trip, we discussed plans, and she asked that I please be home in time to put the children to bed so we could have dinner together afterwards. I was gone from roughly 11:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., which was the time frame we agreed on. After I left, I noticed her texts were a lot more abrupt, and then she stopped responding to me. Upon getting home, she spent the rest of the evening ignoring me. When she finally did start talking to me, she told me how selfish I was to leave her with the kids alone when she's pregnant. Her mom and sister did stop in, albeit much more briefly than I was expecting. She told me that I shouldn't have even asked to go, and that I should have known she didn't want me to go. I asked her why she didn't say this to me earlier, however she told me she doesn't want to tell me what to do. She also accused me of strategic incompetence. I tried to remind her that she suggested I travel alone earlier, for 4 days, and she said, "I made the right decision then." I feel awful that I upset her. I've offered to do all the daycare drop-off and pickups from now on, but she said, "Our arrangement is working fine as is." I offered her a spa day to make up for it, or alternatively, I could take the children out more often during the next few weekends while she rests, but she said, "I don't need a break from my kids, I just need a more reliable husband." She no longer wants to talk to me, and has said she's seriously reconsidering our relationship. I am not sure where to go from here. Any advice is appreciated. You need to stop deciding you are doing enough by comparing your day to hers. Stop disrespecting your wife by saying she has a cushy job with flexibility, if you are both being compensated for a full-time role. Have you ever considered that roles are not flexible, ever? It is in fact the employee that is flexible and manages their work around the demands of their life and family. You may be correct that when your role is about the client, you can't cancel a meeting as easily when something comes up, but what you fail to realize is that she is likely not canceling anything either. She is moving, shifting, and accommodating her way through life. The work still remains, and she still gets the work done at potentially a career regressive pace in supporting your lack of flexibility. Stop with the cushy talk. Someone replied to this. You articulated this so much more clearly than me. I've known so many people who see things like OP. His job is demanding BC, he works more hours. Perhaps he's working more hours BC, he's not as efficient as others. His wife's job is cushy BC. She's able to rearrange her schedule. Everyone I've ever known who could do that, including myself, was only successful at rearranging BC. They worked harder and managed their time, projects, and clients to make that happen. Another said, my kid is sick, and as a bonus, my wife gets mini vacation. OP probably. Maybe the wife would want some non-cushy job, but she sees that she can't take on another role. she can't have a more lucrative career without jeopardizing their children. I think what you're not seeing is that you're about to have 3 small children. And with you working as many hours as you do, the idea that your wife has a cushy job and can take extra time off to handle most everything for your kids and about your household is... I have no nice words for this. It is never easy to have a full-time job and be the primary caretaker of 2 children and be pregnant. It will be even harder to do that with 3 kids. I suspect your wife's real fear is that she will soon be working full-time and taking care of 3 kids mostly on her own. You should try taking your own kids from Friday afternoon until Monday morning, by yourself, while she has a relaxing weekend away, just to get a taste of what her life is like. And that doesn't mean she gets everything ready to make it as easy as possible for you. That means she leaves you a list of what she does between Friday and Monday morning, and you see if you can do it. Then imagine doing that all the time while your wife is gone 70 hours a week. You decided to have 3 children. Now you need to help raise them. Otherwise, you will be TA. Edit from OP. Thank you to everyone for your comments, constructive or otherwise. I honestly didn't expect anyone to see this and have read through them all. Some additional comments to address some common questions. It seems my cushy comment rubbed some folks the wrong way. I didn't mean it in a mean-spirited or disrespectful way, although I can see how it came across this way. I am extremely proud of the career she has built. We met in undergrad, and it has been a pleasure watching her career grow and sharing it with her. I just meant that she seems to have more flexibility since she's not client-facing, works from home, and has downtown for personal endeavors during the workday. I think I just got used to it being easier for her to juggle things versus myself. I didn't include the context to make myself look better. I know she's been doing a lot more of the legwork and home economics, which is why I recognize that there is more to this than the event in question. Yes, I have kept my word and am looking for a new job. I met with a recruiter last week. I work in a highly specialized field, so it's not easy to find, but I am hunting for one and connecting within my network. As far as I know, I am not neurodivergent. Just obtuse, it seems. I only mentioned the discussions we had leading up to the day to show why I was confused. I absolutely would have stayed home if I knew she was uncomfortable. My intention was not to hurt her, but the result is the same. Ultimately, I appreciate the advice. I am committed to being better, which is why I came here. I know there is no magic fix, but I want to work on it. Clearly, my wife has felt the brunt of my decisions over the past several years. Perhaps this was the straw that broke the camel's back. It is a wake-up call for me to not take her for granted. Do you think OP can save his marriage? Comment down below. Thanks for watching.